application. As you can see, they have their own separate applications for their particular funding. This is strictly for the facility itself, and then just kind of tying everybody back together and reminding, you know, the commissioners that I've presented to before, and you as well, of kind of how this concept came to be and what our vision is with it. So the first page, I have some photos, first couple of pages. These photos are of the fill line. The photo on your left, those are the mixing tanks. And I know that most of you, if not all of you, have been to the facility before, but I wanted to share these with the public that may have not seen it, or anyone else. So those are the mixing tanks. The one on the right, that's a portion of the fill line. That's where whatever they are filling at the moment would stop there in that glass housing, and the product would be put into the bottle or whatever piece they're using. The next page actually gives you the entire fill line. So that's what happens. It runs down this conveyor belt and it gets filled, continues to the end into the circle, turning where they would then take it and then cap it or seal it or whatever needs to be done to it. The next page is actually of the warehousing component that is in the incubator and innovation place. Debut, as they mentioned, their customers that they're filling for, they also have you know, a warehousing need a lot of times. They offer a service where they will keep their products for a fee. They can house them for a particular amount of time until they are needed to be shipped out or going into the marketplace. So that's just a little snapshot of their warehousing area and the space that they're utilizing. The next page, here's some snapshots of East River Paddle Sports, and you'll be hearing from him in just a moment, but I wanted you to see this photo on the left. That's his spray booth. So that's where the boats go in and get their paint and the spraying. And then you can see there's a couple of photos of a finished boat and a gentleman working on one of their molds. Just gives you a little idea of what's going on inside his actual space. The next photo, this is of the back portion of Innovation Place. It's a large warehouse, open area, non-air conditioned at this point. The center photo is of an office area that is in the back as well. A couple of months ago, the IDA did purchase the Southeast Steel building up on Highway 17 North next to Walmart. And we have a need for that building. We have a client that will be going into that building. When we were looking at purchasing it and looking to move a client in there, we also wanted to make sure that we felt like we had the responsibility of taking Southeast Steel from that building, but putting them somewhere else in the community. We did not want to be in the business of buying someone's building and forcing them out of the community. We didn't want them to move away and take their jobs with them. So we have worked out an agreement that they will go into this back section of Innovation Place, even for a short time. They will be doing their own renovations. He's actually already started renovations to that office area. So he will be renovating that. We will have a lease in place with him, and they are in the process of moving in there now. So then the next photo, Autumn spoke about the pack and ship store. Clearly, the fill line component has a need to ship product out once it is filled. And Autumn, being in the business and having the knowledge of what the components are in manufacturing, saw the need to put in a pack and ship store in that facility, knowing that it would be utilized by Debut Development for the shipping of their products, and then also serving a dual purpose in that it is a public facility where people from the public can go in and ship their packages as well. So we don't have a place. Up until now, our only choice was the Postal Service. There was a small, I think you could take a package to Heartland Pharmacy, but they're not in the business of providing the packing materials and things of that nature. So this is a separate business that Autumn has taken on and is funding herself. This is not a part of the Stream to Sea grant. It's something completely separate that she is doing, but it's definitely serving a very good purpose for both debut development and the fill line portion, as well as for the public. So that just gives you a snapshot of what her facility looks like. The next couple of slides just talk about who's actually in the incubator. You've already heard from them, so I don't really need to go over them. However, I would like to at least mention, when you're looking at debut development, keep in mind that the IDA, when we agreed to this incubator concept and agreed to administer the grant funds and agreed, we would purchase the building and we would retrofit it, and came up with this concept that the IDA is not in the business of fill line. We don't want to be in the fill line business. So the IDA did issue an RFP for a fill line manager, someone to operate that function and that portion. Debut Development responded to the RFP and were awarded that contract. So keep in mind, when you're putting all these pieces of the puzzle together and these requests for funding, that we are all very intertwined, and each piece makes a whole part of the puzzle, and one needs the other to function. And we are a team, and we have assimilated this group of people that have the background and the knowledge and the drive to make sure that this entire concept does work and becomes self-sustaining. So, and remember also that the EDA, when this concept came about, this was also agreed and strongly mentioned that this was going to be a multi-year project as well. This is not something that was going to happen overnight and that was going to be self-sustaining overnight. And I've said this at both Wauchula and Bowling Green, but I encourage you, when you're considering your rankings, to remember that these tenants in the incubator and this facility itself, if you give up on them now, or if you choose to let them go their own direction, you've lost everything. If you lift them up a little bit more, and we lift them up to the point that they become self-sustaining within the next 6 months to a year, we have this successful business, we have this successful place, if you will, in Hardy County, that more people like Stream to Sea and more people like Peace River Paddle Sports will be able to take their ideas and come to this community, or they're already here in this community. There are so many people in the community already that have these ideas that don't have a way to bring them to fruition because they don't have the capital, they don't have the knowledge of how to get there. That's the point of Innovation Place, and we need to make sure it gets there. We need to make sure that we continue to uplift it and make it what it's supposed to be. So, our goals for this next year for the facility itself, we want